There was literally.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
How's everybody doing today?
Well.
It's great to be here today worshiping. And so we're still practicing social distancing, obviously. There's some people that have been spiked recently here in Jacksonville. Wear their masks and wash their hands. So let's be praying for that and make sure everyone that we know stays safe. We can easily wear a mask. Here's the thing I think about wearing a mask. It's kind of inconvenient sometimes. But man, when I'm out there, if it can keep me from getting someone else sick or then get me from getting me sick, whether it works or not, I think it's inconvenient. It would be a great thing to have for somebody else, right? Our quick announcement is we are over at Faith Life. We've got our Faith Life app. We're using so go to faithlife.com and sign up for that. Let us know about that. Sign up for that. It's kind of a online people manager. It's got a little bit of like some elements of social media, but more it's kind of like the Nextdoor app. Is what it is. It's like the Nextdoor app for the church, which is really kind of nice. But we wouldn't want you to sign up for something without giving you something too. So if you sign up for the Faith Life and you connect yourself to Bridges Community Church through there, you'll actually be able to get some free resources for Faith Life TV. Get some free resources for Faith Life Bible study apps and Logos Bible study apps, which basically both of those would have like a $15 a month subscription to those, where you get extras. Well, you get both of those for free. Basically, how that works out. So it's a pretty good deal. Has anybody here actually used the Faith Life TV app before? Yeah, my family, we do. We use it. We like it.
I have Lego Jesus.
We like Jesus, so we watch Jesus stuff.
We like Lego Jesus.
Oh, we like Lego Jesus. I thought she said we like Jesus. Oh yeah, they've got Lego Jesus on there, which is really cool. And so you should have to check that out. I say, some people think Lego Jesus is for kids. I say Lego Jesus is for everybody. We got that. If you are watching online today, we're very happy to be able to let's just put ourselves into a place of worship right now.
Amen.
Right. Father, we just want to thank you for this day. Enter into this. You're already here, but as we enter into this place, that we just feel your presence in a real and powerful way today. In your name we pray. How do you guys know this one? My voice is today, so you're going to have to help me out today. Bless the Lord, oh my soul. Oh, my soul. Worship His holy name. Sing like never before. I won't your word will come to pass. My heart will sing praise again. Jesus, you're still enough. Keep me within your love. My heart will sing your praise again. Promise is stand, great is your I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. Never fail me. Promises stand. Great is your faithfulness. This is my confidence. Never fail me. I see you do it again. You make a way where there was no way, and I believe. I see you do it again. You make a way where there was no way, and I believe. I see you do it again. Promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness. Your faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. Never fail me. Promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness. Your faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness. Your
my confidence, never fail me yet. Never fail me yet. You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you, I worship you. You are the way maker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are the way maker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Touch every heart. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, healing every heart. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, I worship you, I worship you. You are here, mending every heart. I worship you, I worship you. You are the way maker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are the way maker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. 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 You are the way maker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are the way maker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Even when I don't see that you're working, even when I don't feel that you're working, you never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see that you're working, even when I don't feel that you're working, you never stop working. You never stop, you never stop working. Even when I don't see that you're working, even when I don't feel that you're working, you never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see that you're working, even when I don't feel that you're working, you never stop working. You never stop working. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. 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 Miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are.
We cry out who you are to us because you are. Waymaker.
Miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. 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 That is who you are.
Jesus, that is who you are.
That is who you are. That is who you are.
Father, we just thank you so much. That you make ways, that you keep promises, that you're a miracle worker. All the things that we need right now, Father, we thank you and praise you for that. In your holy name. Amen. Amen. I wish I wrote it. Father's Day.
You do.
I got Father's Day yesterday. Today is a work day. So I was going to yesterday. Eggs, bacon, and toast. Bacon and toast.
Alright.
And got some really cool gifts. New beard oil, which smells really good. Especially when the mask is on. All day. We went to the beach yesterday, and I didn't have to cook once. I got hamburgers last night. So, guys, you got stuff planned for today, Father's Day?
Not last Sunday, so.
Now, I will tell you though, I had a message prepared that was kind of like along the lines of, but wait, there's more, but for fathers. But you know, there's a thing that happens, and it got on my eyes like I just couldn't shake it. So today I want to talk about this verse in Exodus, and it's not really a but wait, there's more. It's not out of context. It's never really taken out of context, but it's oftentimes quoted. But there's so much more to it that we kind of miss even the great power that's behind the verse. And I want to be honest, and I think that we can all be this way. I think we all want to defend ourselves, don't we?
Yeah.
I think we all might have a little bit of scrappiness in us, don't we? And I remember growing up, I was a scrappy one. I was a scrappy one. Can you believe that? One second, I was a scrappy one. But I came from like kind of this background that, you start the fight and you finish it. You guys ever heard that? Well, I don't start fights, but I finish it. Some don't start fights, they finish them. I finish them. But the more I got into this thing, the more I realized we don't start fights, and we don't finish any either. Now, if I'm going to finish a fight, I'm going to do it a certain way. I'm going to be pretty good about it. And this week, I've seen a lot of people start some fights on. Here's the thing. Right now, like the fighting ground for me used to be playground. It used to be recess at school. When so-and-so was over there with his friends, and I was over here with my friends, and we got to jawing back and forth, and eventually the jawing got to throwing hands, and eventually, it ended in detentions for both of us. That's how it ended. But these days, I notice that the battleground is social media. And it's no longer in a schoolyard with kids that don't know better, but it's with adults who should know a lot better than what they do. And we got this thing now called trolls. I don't know when this happened. We got this thing called trolls. Basically, they just slide right on by and they see something they disagree with and they come in and they just spew out whatever they can to make you feel bad about yourself, and then they move on. And they don't really care. But what happens is you see people start to engage in these battles. So I want to be a little relevant today. That there's some battles that take place online, there's fights that take place online, and people say stuff that really they probably shouldn't say online and things like that. But we see a lot of these things happening, and it reminds me back in the schoolyard. When you get jawing back and forth, and eventually you got to come to fists. Right? You gotta, and when the girls would do it, they would get to slapping and get the hair pulling and stuff, and that was one fight I was never going to get into. I'm telling you what. I always thought that that the guys were bad. But man, when the girls get going, they're not as often as the guys. The guys would do it like, almost every week we would have one of those things. But man, when the girls did it would fester.
Yeah.
Like, it would, I remember my friends that were girls, not my girlfriends, because they didn't have any of those. But my friends that were girls, they would it would be weeks. Just don't say the wrong thing. And it was like, and then she would say the wrong thing, like, you didn't do anything. Oh, no. You don't understand. It's a coming. And I'm like, what? And then when it came, oh my goodness. But again, they don't know any better. It wasn't until, what year was that? So we were working at this church right before we came here. One of the things that we got to do is we were going to have this Christian education meeting. And all day long, you ever had like those weird feelings in the spirit, like, oh, something's about to happen, and I don't think it's going to be good. Like that feeling of impending doom. Well, we kind of had that, like, oh, that's just crazy. It just must be in the atmosphere or whatever. Well, that day, a gentleman came by the office, and he stopped by for lunch. He never did that. He'd come by, and he's like, I don't really even know why I'm here. And as he was walking out, he goes, oh, Luke, Exodus 14:14, I need you to look that up. So I'm like, oh, okay. He left, and I opened up my Bible. I went to Exodus 14:14, and I looked at it, and it said, the Lord will fight for you in all you have, and you have only to be silent. That was kind of a weird verse, kind of a weird situation, wasn't it? Guy comes in, never comes in for lunch, like, doesn't even know why he's there. On his way out, he's like, oh, by the way, I just feel like God wants me to tell you to look up Exodus 14:14. Not knowing, none of us knew what was going to happen. Well, that whole day, Exodus 14:14 is something like, God's going to fight for me, all I got to do is keep my mouth shut. That's the LPV version, by the way, Luke's paraphrase version, because let's be really honest, that's really what we need to hear sometimes. Look, God's going to fight for you, just keep your trap shut. When they say the things that hurt your feelings, just keep your mouth shut. When they come and attack your character, just keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut. So I kept thinking all day long, I just can keep my mouth shut. Why? I'm not the kind, okay. I am now, but I wasn't the kind of guy to leave my mouth shut. Anybody else relate with that? Anybody else the guy or gal in here that like, well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you a piece of my mind.
No.
You still do that? I'll give you a piece of my mind. I'll tell you what, it feels good to give someone a piece of your mind, doesn't it? When they've shown themselves and you're like, oh, it feels good, but that's carnal. And in that moment, I had no idea what God was trying to tell me. But that night, we went to this Christian education meeting. And we're talking about Christian education. And then all of a sudden, it turned to be about how bad Luke and Beth were. How we were trying to change the church. And we, because we came in to do youth and contemporary worship. And how that kind of stuff's not welcomed there. And how we were all these things. And none of them were true. They were all accusations. And then one lady started coming after my wife. And I'm like, puffed up for a second. So I do this thing. Beth knows when I'm about to go, right? So I'll do this thing where I'll just cross my, you've seen it too, right? Yeah, so you see it. I'm like, okay. I'll get the beard stroke going, and then when I'm done thinking, I cross the arms, and my chest puffs out because I'm ready to go. I'm like, let's go, let's do this. Sometimes I get a little pace because I'm like, all right, you done talking yet? Because I'm about to go. But I started to get that posture, didn't I? I started to build up. But then I went, Exodus 14:14. I will fight for you. All I have is to keep my mouth shut right now. You know what? Something odd happened in that moment. I hadn't seen anything. I didn't defend myself. I didn't defend my wife. I've been telling her, man, it's Exodus 14:14. It's been bugging me all day. So guess what? She kept her mouth shut too. Next thing you know, the pastor's trying to defend us. And these people, and they're like, but then I've been talking about Exodus 14:14 to him too. And guess what he does? He keeps his mouth shut. The next thing I know, these people, they lose their minds. Because we didn't respond, they had to escalate it to try to antagonize a response. And when we didn't respond, they escalated to antagonize a greater response. And because we didn't respond, they antagonized it. They escalated to try to antagonize a response. And before you knew it, they had gone too far. They had pushed themselves into a corner. They had shown their character. And within a few weeks, they were gone. Well, as old lady tells us, never once did I open my mouth. Never opened my mouth. But you know what? That verse is powerful as it was in that moment, as powerful as it can be when you're walking down the street and you hear someone say something. If you go into that meeting with someone, and let's be honest, church is sometimes a place where people have different thoughts, different views, different viewpoints, and you can have those moments. In those moments, when you keep your mouth shut with those attacks, you just bypass it. As powerful as that is, there's more to that verse. Everyone in this room, everyone watching, there's more to that verse, and I want to go over it today. As we've been talking about but wait, there's more, we oftentimes take the verse that people recognize, and I've seen Exodus 14:14 now on the memes, and I've seen them on the t-shirts and the coffee mugs. It's starting to make its rounds. People are starting to understand that, God's going to do some stuff for you if you just sit it. Let him do the battle, because let's be honest, I could have defended myself that night in that room, and it would have been sweet. I may not look real smart, but I'm good with words. I'd have got him. Words and truth would have got him. But not near as good as what God could have gotten. I'd have bruised them. But there'd been more battles to come. God ended the battles. Established freedom. But with everything, that verse is a sentence in a paragraph. And that paragraph is a paragraph in an entire chapter. That entire chapter is part of a greater book called Exodus. And we understand that the book of Exodus is about the children of Israel leaving Egypt. Let's use that as our context, that the children of Israel are leaving Egypt, and at this point in time, they are leaving Egypt. They are being pursued by their captor. You see, we've already gone through all the plagues, and we've got the frogs and the locusts and the angel of death, and now the Passover is now established, and all of those things have already taken place. The firstborn in Egypt have all died. They are mourning. Pharaoh let the Israelites go because he was afraid of what else God would do. Here's the thing, I've learned that fear and hate look a lot alike. In fact, I think fear gives way to hate. I think we start out afraid. And because it's hard to admit that we're afraid of something, because that fear normally is something that's our fault, right? Like it's either I'm too weak to handle it, I'm not strong enough, I'm not brave enough, I'm not smart enough, so I'm afraid of it. That's why we get afraid of people. We're afraid. We get afraid of things, situations. But it's so much easier to say, no, I'm angry at it, I hate it, because fear makes us look inward. Hatred makes us look outward. Hatred is a tool of the devil to keep our eyes focused on others and not on ourselves and not on God. Here's Pharaoh in this moment. His fear of what would happen, his brokenness of loss, turns to a wicked hatred. And he goes pursuing Israel. He's going to bring them back or slaughter them. I don't know. So in chapter 14, for context, it's about crossing the Red Sea. It's about crossing the Red Sea. And the paragraph that verse 14 comes in, it's at the very end of a paragraph that starts with verse 10. So let's read that. When Pharaoh drew near, the people of Israel lifted up their eyes. And behold, the Egyptians were marching after them, and they feared greatly. And the people of Israel cried out to the Lord. They said to Moses, "Is it because there are no graves in Egypt that you have taken us away to die in the wilderness? What have you done to us in bringing us out of Egypt? Is not this what we said to you in Egypt? Leave us alone that we may serve the Egyptians? For it would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the wilderness." You see the context for which this verse is starting to be set up? This one statement, this phrase that comes from God, the heart of God, the mouth of God, through his prophet, through his worker. Are you seeing what's happening here? They have been set free. They are no longer in bondage, but they would rather go back to bondage than to die, because they think just because God got them out, He can't also protect them from this foe. Many times we are set free, we are set apart, we are made free, but then someone will come along and they will use their words, or they will come at you and they will attack you in some way. And it will make you feel, wow, it would have been better for me to stay there than for me to come here where I am. And the words were simple. Moses said to the people, "Fear not. Stand firm and see that the salvation of the Lord, which He will work for you today. For the Egyptians, that's the point. For the Egyptians, who you see today, you shall never see again." Now, we are not Israel, and our foes are not the Egyptians, but we see a principle here that can be applied in many aspects of our life. How many times do we leave a situation and we go back to it? There's a proverb that says, as a dog returns to its vomit, so a fool returns to its folly. I want to say that again because it lines up so perfectly with the situation here in Israel, with what's happening as they are fleeing Egypt. They have been in captivity. Now it is time for them to be free. God is going to lead them to a promised land, and all they can think about is the death that is coming. They can't see the life that's there. They have no positivity. They have no view of what's there. We have a statement. I've heard some people say, "Wow, if we could just get back to the old times." And I have that nostalgia, right? Like we get that nostalgia. Things were just so much better. But were they? Let's ask, were they? Think about what we know now. Think about the life we have now. Think about the wisdom that we have now. We don't want to go back to a point we didn't know what we know now. You know, there's this old song that, it's probably not that old, it's back in the 90s, but it says, "Boy, if I knew then what I know now." Right? Man, I'm glad I know now what I do. And if I could only have known what I know now then, but here's the thing, what I know now I couldn't have learned without the things that I've gone through, without leaving Egypt, without going through the wilderness, without crossing the Red Sea. Without that, I wouldn't know what I know and I wouldn't be who I am. The problems that we face, they've always been there. We just couldn't see the activity before. We can see it. There's an option. Do we go back to the old ways, or do we find something new? Do we go out and follow the will of God into a new thing? Do we leave the old friends that we had? Do we keep going back to the same people that keep getting us into the same places that we've always been? Do we keep going back to the same situations that keep putting us in the same place that we've always been? Or do we say, that was easy. It would be better to live in that captivity than to be uncertain of the future and what's going to happen. But listen, God's going to bring you salvation. He is going to take care of your enemies, and the Lord will fight for you.
Amen.
Amen. All you have to do is be silent. Why is silence so important? Egypt saw them. It wasn't like they were undercover. Shh. God's going to come out and ambush them. No. They're at the edge of the sea. I went to the edge of the sea yesterday. There's nowhere to hide. It's wide open. You can see for miles. They were in plain sight. So why be silent? It's not like they were hiding. Because here's the problem. Whenever we talk, we get in our head. Whenever I open my mouth, and I'm thinking carnally and I'm not thinking spiritually, man, if I don't make life worse for myself. Whenever I decide to make that political statement that I probably shouldn't make, whenever I decide to say, well, actually, I just walk away, what am I doing? When they come and attack me, and let's be honest, there's a lot of people attacking the church. There's a lot of people attacking people over race, over religion, over politics. And there's going to be a lot more of it, folks. Don't pretend like it's not. This is an election year, and it's going to get uglier. The closer we get to November, the uglier it's going to be. And if whoever gets that office is who I think it's going to be, then it's only going to get uglier. People are going to get more upset. People are going to get more out of control. It's only going to spiral downward. And they're going to use social media, and people are going to try to attack. But here's the thing. When we try to rebuttal, when we try to bring our level, let me give you a piece of my mind. And I was telling this to a friend the other day. I was like, look, they're just crabs nipping at your ankles, trying to get a response. Because here's the thing, that response, that's what they live for. They don't really want to hurt you so much as they want you to hurt yourself. They want a response. The people that come to attack you, they want a response. Like in that room, all those people could think was, if I could just get Luke to lose his cool, if I could just say the most ugly and despicable things I can, so that he would just show him that you're not a holy man. Just show him that, and when they couldn't do it, they had to escalate what they were saying to try to get that response, because that's what they wanted. They just wanted me to respond. Because however I responded would be how others would see me. I said, look, those people, those trolls, There's a reason why they're coming to your inbox. There's a reason why they're coming to your comment section. The reason why they're saying the things they are, it's not because they love you. It's not because they care about you, and it's not because they want to see the best for you. It's because they want to see you fail. Those people that come to attack you, they're not looking to elevate you. They're not. See, there's a difference between admonishment and attacking. Admonishment is, I've walked a life with Beth, and I've spent a lot of time with her, and I'm like, Beth, I love you. And where you're headed right now is it's just a little bit off. So let me help you find the right trajectory to get you right where you need to be. That's what admonishment is. I'm correcting someone in love, but it's based on relationship. We've got time together. We've got experience together. And you know that I have your best interest in mind. I told someone, look, I'm not your enemy. I'm trying to help you not get sucked into the madness. Because there's a lot of madness out there that people are going to try to get you into. I've seen it this week. I've seen Christians getting in wars with each other on Facebook. You know how stupid that is. Social media, I'm telling you what.
I believe in mine.
I feel this way. You ever see that Waterboy, that movie Waterboy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got Adam Sandler. He's a football player. Well, he's a Waterboy. He turns into a football player. And his mama. Spoiler alert. If you haven't seen it, sorry, I'm gonna ruin it for you. But his mama said everything's the devil. Foosball, calls football foosball. Foosball is the devil. The devil, the devil. And like even in her sleep, she mumbles the devil, the devil, the devil. And I'm like, that's social media. Every time I'm like, I can see the devil all on it, all in it, and everything. Because so everybody got stuck in the houses, and I believe what we're going through is spiritual warfare. The whole coronavirus, everyone being stuck and isolated. I believe that's spiritual warfare. Do not get me wrong. The devil's using it. He's using it against people. People are taking their own lives. They are fighting. They're separating themselves from people. It is not good that we should be isolated. That's why the Bible says, do not neglect gathering together, because iron sharpens iron. We're supposed to be together. We're supposed to have communion with one another. You can't be, there's a song, no man is an island. And that is true. We must have people with us. And so Satan has used this, and then he gets people, look what they typed. Well, I don't like the tone of that. You hear that joke? You hear that one? Oh, you see what they typed? I don't like the tone of that. You can imagine what someone sounded like saying it. Unless you actually hear them saying it, don't you? Because here's the thing, text messages, tones, posts, they do not have emotion. They do not have inflection. They do not have expression. 10% of our communication, folks, is words, is actual words. The words that you say. The rest of that communication is made up by your facial expression, your inflection, and your tone. I can sit here and I can mime something to you and you understand it. Communicate something. I said a lot more there. You can say so much. And what happens is that communication gets eradicated. And then people are forced to use words and words only. And those words get taken out of context, they get twisted, they get thrown around. And then the ugly creates more ugly. If someone's attacking you, your faith, what you believe. Now, we should always stand up for the underdog, and we should always, when we see someone being abused or someone being oppressed, we should stand up for them because that's what Jesus did. Especially when we start thinking about this whole racism thing. I've seen more people come out and say, oh yeah, I'm racist. What? Well, it's okay, because no, it's not okay. It's never okay to judge someone else by the color of their skin and to have feelings about people because of how they grew up. That is not okay. It's not okay. It's a sin. Don't do that. We should stand up against those things, and for a reason, because those people need to be heard. And maybe they're silent because the Lord says, I will fight for you. All you need to be is silent. Maybe you're their mouthpiece, that you're their defender. You're not defending yourself. You're standing up for somebody else. You're not getting in an arbitrary fight because somebody in front of you. Because somebody said something about something that you don't like. And it got me thinking. Fathers, how you respond is how your kids will respond. How you behave is how your kids will behave. Mothers, come from me too. You can come in for a second. But let's go beyond Christian. How do you respond? Show the world who you are. Do you represent yourself or do you represent Christ? If that'd be a question. When I react to the person at the gas station, do I represent myself or do I represent Christ? When I react to the thing that they want me to react to on social media, do I represent myself or do I represent Christ? When I treat the waitress accordingly to how she has treated me, when I talk to my spouse the way that I do in front of my kids, man, that's getting hard, isn't it? When I treat my coworkers, there's so many things that you got to think about. Who are you representing? And how are you representing them? I want us to represent Christ. I want people to get to know who Jesus is. I think it's more important that people get to know who Jesus is than who gets elected. Because I'm going to be honest with you, none of them are very good candidates. Right? Because guess what? They're all people, and they're all flawed, and they're all sinful. And as long as that is the case, until we have Jesus running for office, it's going to be a problem. And someone is going to make a mistake. Someone's going to make errors.
He is running for office.
Office in our heart, for sure.
Yeah.
It is. I see too many Christians dying on a political altar where they should be standing up for love, for peace, and for unity. Let's remember, the Lord will fight for you when they come to attack. All you need to do is be silent. Because in that silence, it creates a response. Israel already said, oh, it's better. They'd already gone back on the promise that God had given. They'd already gone and mocked and dare I say, blasphemed the promise that God had given them. It'd been better for us to live in captivity than to die in the wilderness. Said no for you. But they got in their own way. We know the story. They crossed the Red Sea. They finally get to this mountain. Moses goes up the mountain and he talks to the big guy himself. Big guy gives him some the charter for their new kingdom. He comes down and guess what he finds out? They had already made another altar and started worshiping another god. He wasn't even gone a week. It took them no time at all to turn their back on God. They got in their own way, and what they have to do? Wander. And you know what? Every last one of those people that said it was better for us to live in captivity than to die in the wilderness, what did they do? You know, the Lord doesn't take care of it. Let me keep my mouth shut so I don't have to die. You know, the Lord doesn't take care of it. Let me keep my mouth shut because I know what Pharaoh might be a little better equipped than I am. with the horses and the chariots, the spears and the swords and the arrows. I'm just going to let God, who wins all battles, because he is the way maker, the promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. He's the one who does this. So yes, slap Exodus 14:14 on your vest, and you wear that thing proudly. And don't just say it. Do it. Because one, it's much easier. It's a much better life when you just let the Lord fight for you and you keep your mouth shut. Say that with me. Keep your mouth shut. So I'm going to practice that today. I'm going to practice that tomorrow. I'm going to practice that until my flesh doesn't let me practice it. And then when I mess up, I'm going to go back like, Luke, seriously, you know better. You've literally preached the message on it. Keep your mouth shut. Just let it go. And what will wind up happening is those people that come to attack, those people that come to not make you better, to not increase you, but to tear you down, what will happen is they will either move on to someone else or they'll devour themselves. They'll just keep talking until everyone's like, yeah, I think we found the problem. All right. Let's pray. Father, I just want to thank you and praise you for this wonderful Father's Day, the opportunity to serve you and to love you. And Father, we thank you that you will fight for us. And that those that we see today will see no more because you will fight for us. You will deliver us. Father, we just turn that over to you. Father, let us know the difference between engaging in a battle for ourselves and standing up for the disenfranchised. Lord, give us a boldness to be able to speak on your behalf for those who need it. And there are those who need to be defended, but yet they're waiting for you. Maybe we're your mouthpiece. Maybe we're your hands and feet. Help us to know when that is and give us boldness to operate in that, to make the statements and to stand up against the bullies. Father, for our own lives, help us not to get so weighed down and engage with the trolls and the yapping dogs and the ones that would only want to distract us from the work that you have for us. Kingdom work, God work, holy work. There are so many people in this world that need to know who Jesus is. They need to know who you are. They need to feel your power and your presence. They need salvation and they need restoration. They need redemption. They need rescue from hell. And we can't do it if we're too busy arguing over petty things. Father, help us not to get involved with the petty things. Help us to let those things go and know that our worth and our identity comes from you and you only. We ask this in your precious and holy name. Amen. So, don't forget. Wait, there's nothing to not forget. We're everything all along. Everything I should have.